Key points. The inspector. It is interesting to note that the inspector arrives at exactly the point when Mr. Burling is preaching to his son and Gerald. There are many theories as to the nature of the inspector. His name, Ghoul, seems to suggest that he is supernatural. It has also been suggested that he is a time traveller, and another theory is that he is the embodiment of social conscience. The inspector is described as having the uncanny habit of staring at a person before he talks to them. He is characterised by purposefulness. He is never swayed from his investigations despite hostility and evasion by the other characters. The inspector is careful to separate each character from the security of the family when he questions them. This makes them more vulnerable. Despite questioning each character in turn, the inspector is always careful to ensure that the revelations are witnessed by other members of the family and never just by himself. The inspector uses photos to heighten the emotional intensity of his investigations. The photos also serve as a source of stimulus for the confessions. The inspector's lines are often quite short and take the form of prompts that nudge the other characters to continue with their confessions. The inspector repeats the idea that the girl in question died in agony. This again intensifies the character's emotional reactions to the situation. The inspector can be subtle, as when he's dealing with Sheila. Here, he merely has to suggest some facts surrounding Eva Smith before Sheila pours out the entire story in great detail. He has a big impact on Sheila, and she is quick to understand his message. In doing so, she becomes his deputy and supports his investigations during the remainder of the play. He can also be forceful and harsh, suggesting the worst attributes about the characters' personalities. For instance, he suggests that Sheila was jealous of Eva, to which Sheila agrees. The inspector is impervious to any social boasts that the Burlings or Gerald can make. He is not impressed by titles or money. The inspector skillfully uses a certain amount of aggression to deal with both Mr. and Mrs. Burling, raising his voice at key moments, and yet he always remains in control, never losing his temper. The inspector uses questions to ensure that the others do not dry up in the middle of their confessions. He uses psychological manipulation to extract a confession from everyone. The inspector's final speech is impressive and powerful. His exit at this point leaves the family in disarray and ready to turn on each other.